This is a Hot Pie Media original.
Welcome to Music Fringe.
Welcome to the Music Fringe, la musique française. Pardon. We have a very special guest today.
Yes.
We have Primo the Alien.
Primo the Alien, all the way from outer space. People think it's because it's Spanish for cousin.
Right.
So a lot of people think it's Spanish or that I mean cousin. People be like, "Hey, cuz." They always comment like, "Hey, cuz" on my stuff. Those few comments I get when I get them, you know.
But people are always shouting you out like, "Oh, ¿qué onda, mi primo?"
Yeah, all the time. So are we working on your reel?
Absolutely.
Add some more. Come on, do another accent. One more.
Well, we've got a very nice
All right,
show today.
not bad.
A little bit of Cockney.
Yeah.
And
A
we're
lot
gonna
of British
lay it
people
down.
will pronounce it Primo. Primo.
She's Primo the Alien.
Yeah.
She came down from East Rutherford Street.
Yeah.
And she got, a very nice thing going. We'd have, comparisons, maybe Robin, maybe Olivia
Ooh.
Newton-John
Appreciate it.
early on. But these are things that we don't want to force upon you.
Yeah. I'm doing my own thing. I kind of just do what happens. But Primo is from, it's just like a play on the 80s. Like, oh, that's Primo, man. Some Primo bud, bruh. I don't know if they said bro back then. They said Primo bud, man. That's probably what they said. Yeah.
That's some radical Peruvian primo dust right
Yeah. There you go. See, you're really, you could do a supercut of this and you could be auditioning. You would be going on auditions like left and right.
That's the
stuff.
idea,
Yeah.
is to get out of my sanitation job and onto something a little more creative.
Oh, so you're in the mob.
Import, export.
Yeah.
I work for a family-based business.
Family.
We keep it under the table.
Family.
But I do want to welcome everybody to the Music Fringe. I am the music dilettante. My name is Lee, and here on the Music Fringe, we focus on micro-genres, the specific genres of music that you probably haven't heard of, but your super geeky cousin who sits in the basement, plays D&D, and scours Reddit all day. These are the microgenres that he may be into. And what we're going to try to do is bring some of those dimes of wisdom and lay them out for you, the public, so that you can learn a little bit more about Inuit throat singing.
What do you do when you run out of microgenres? They just keep springing up new ones?
It just does not happen, yeah. It just keeps branching off. I can jump on Reddit tomorrow and probably see, Simpson, synthwave, there's patriotic, country core line dancing.
Cool.
There's always something
There's always
popping
something,
up.
yeah.
And if not,
You'll make it.
Exactly. I'll go home and, just create a Aquatic Life with Steve Zissou drum and bass trance remix.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've learned a lot doing this, I guess? Like now you're like a musical genius almost?
I've been a genius. Genius has been associated with my name for, whenever I can remember. But what I have learned is that artists themselves, are typically confused by what genres they encapsulate. And that, when you come into your artist persona, usually you have an idea of like, oh, okay, this is where I fit in, the universe of things. And here are people that are tangential to me. But as far as like verbiage and just putting labels on it, it is up in the air. It's usually very subjective, and artists themselves are kind of like at a loss. Like, I guess I'm pseudo prog rock, but I don't know where to go from there. So what's been fun is having artists on here and just going down that rabbit hole and kind of picking their brain. Like, oh, I didn't even know, I was influenced by that, or, a Beatles song, from the 60s is the keystone, core of why I create music. Random stuff like that. But definitely still learning, as we all are in this weird...
I feel like I don't know anything about music. Like, I mean, I make it, but I feel like I just don't know a lot about... I listen to it when I can, but I'm always making it.
Right.
It's not like people sit down at their desk to work or something and they put music on in the background, or anything I'm doing is audio based. And so I can't, there's nothing. And then when I have time, I've been listening to so much all day. My ears are like dead. And I really feel like I don't listen to music that much.
So you're just
crazy.
you're just root source from the heart.
From the groin, mostly, but sure.
From the
a
below
dash
the
of
belt.
heart in there, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I think below the groin is definitely
Below the groin. I mean, I'm dead center on the groin.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're targeted right into the groin, which is probably, the best place to, spring music from and, have
Sure.
everything sourced from there.
Life springs forth from there. Right?
Absolutely.
So, are we allowed to curse on this this show?
Absolutely.
Here? Okay, just wanted to double check.
And you can talk about your loins as much as you'd like.
Good.
But you did mention something that you don't really study music. You're not going to try to intellectualize what you're creating. But I do think with your music, the best way I would describe it is I would want to listen to your music after a hard workout at the gym and I'm thinking about leaving. But then as I walk out with a towel over my shoulder and I look over and there's a dark kind of activity, dance room, and I hear your music playing and I just wander in there and I'm still sweating and I start to dance and the lights come up a little bit and then suddenly there's
This is some gym you go to.
Yeah. There's another woman
dark
in
room.
the rec room with me.
Okay.
And all of a sudden we're just
You're
doing
fucking.
power dance. Well,
Okay.
that's 2 steps further.
Okay.
But for the time being, we're just having an 80s just, music video moment where
Sure.
we're twirling each other, we're dancing. We're in spandex. I got my high shorts. She's kind of looking like Olivia Newton in that physical video. And we're just vibing
Did
each
Olivia
other.
Newton awaken something in you? You've
I
mentioned
just-
her a couple of times. Is she?
When I think of dancing to your music, 80s fitness wear comes to mind. And when I think of that, I think of Olivia Newton-John doing curls in her physical video
Of course.
and her spandex. So she is kind of the iconic, wellspring from where I think that comes from. But not to digress, I do think that your music is perfect for sweaty, emo dancing, alone in gyms, if you haven't targeted that. I don't know if you've...
I think that's a great description. I mean, you could have ended the sentence after perfect, but sure, yeah. I think it's gets you moving. So I want it to be fun, and I don't. We're talking about dream pop today. I love pop music. I listen to a lot of pop music, but my goal is to. I don't like my music to be background music, and dream pop is a bit. It's a vibe. I'm not a vibe. I'm like, you're going to listen to it and you're going to love it, or you're going to be like, turn that shit off sort of thing. I don't know. So I guess it's a vibe, but it ain't a dream pop vibe. I tell you
Right.
that.
You're not putting on Primo the Alien when you have a dinner party and you're serving fish and you need something to just occupy the background.
Exactly.
You're putting on Primo when...
The after party.
Yeah.
The after dinner party.
You've railed some pre-workout. You're in the gym. You're sweating. All your hopes and dreams are right in front of you. You just got to reach out and grab it. And the only thing restraining you is that spandex that you just got on sale that's a little too tight, keeping you locked in.
Yeah. This is getting very steamy. Whew.
Per usual on the Music Fringe. But I do think with your music, you just hear it and you automatically have a visual of kind of what's happening. When you started, making music, was there a direct influence that flowed right into Primo the Alien and creating, that project?
I've always listened to, I love big power singers. So, Patti LaBelle, Tina Turner, Whitney Houston, Celine, the divas. So I grew up listening to that sort of music, and also, a huge fan of David Bowie. Meatloaf is one of my idols.
Who lives here in town?
Well, he's living here now?
Yeah, he lives in Westlake.
Oh, shit. I mean, unfortunately, he's disappointed me in his personal sort of life, but his stage persona, and his work with Jim Steinman and all that stuff. I'm just a very big fan of Meatloaf and the theatrical nature of it.
Absolutely.
So I guess I wanted to make something. I've always, even before I was doing Primo stuff, my songs were always very belty and loud and that kind of thing. But I just felt like I wasn't I was never finding the sound that I wanted when I was working with other producers. So I think the whole inspiration of Primo was me just doing everything myself. That's how it started. So yeah, I just started playing around beats and thinking, oh, this is just for fun. I'll never release this. And then I made a few songs and I was like, I don't know, maybe this is like kind of okay. This is maybe good. Maybe I'll put it out. And I did. And a few years later, here I am, you know. I'm the queen. People call me the queen of Austin music. They say,
I've heard that,
you know,
yeah.
she's changed the scene. She's changed the game. You know, things will never be the same. And that was all just, you know, from a little just desire to play around and have fun. And, you know, here we are now.
Absolutely. I've heard there's name changes due for different, you know, parks in town for Primo.
Yeah.
And
there's a statue that it's bronze. They're not going to do it right now because they didn't want to deal with COVID, and they want it to be a huge thing. So probably we're thinking like summer of 2022.
Gotcha.
Yeah, full. It's not just a bust. It's full body.
Well, they better lock you down before you're booked for VMAs or
Well, yeah, I mean, I
Grammys.
book it fast too. Yeah, definitely. So
because that'll creep up on you. Mm-hmm. But unluckily, we don't have a statue of Meatloaf here in town. And I know he didn't grow up here, but he lives here. And we should take that. We should take anything in Austin, honestly.
We could do maybe we could combo. I would totally be down to do us like holding hands, you know, and standing there, or, you know, doing some kind of like a really solid handshake.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to Austin. I'm the queen. You know, you're like welcoming, you know, like a king to town.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'll talk to the sculptor.
He's definitely, you know, he would have to be a large statue. There'd just be a lot of material that would have to go in.
All right, now.
Yeah, you know, it's something that he would admit.
Don't rag on my boy. Okay. Well, that's one thing I love about him. So I'm a big fan of Elvis also.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have their photos all in my, like the entryway to my house is full, the whole wall is full of people who inspire me, and I look at it every day. And Elvis is one of them too, because, not because of this, but this is one thing I like about them. Before I would play a show sometimes, I would go through my closet and be like, oh my God, I have nothing to wear. Everything looks terrible on me. I look fat, I look ugly, blah, blah, blah. You know, all the things you do that are stupid. And I would look at this picture of Elvis in the jumpsuit, but when he was overweight, and think like, fuck that. Like, I'll wear whatever the fuck I want. Elvis still wore his jumpsuit when he gained some weight. I'll wear my spandex and everyone can just deal with it, you know? He and Meatloaf both. I always look at that and they're just doing their thing. They don't care what they look like. And that's like what music's all about anyway. So, yeah.
That absolutely drug era Elvis.
Yeah, he was doing his thing.
Yeah, he had the talent. He didn't have to care about the aesthetics anymore.
You know,
people are going to love him anyway. And him and his posse would fly out on private jets to get giant, you know, peanut butter sandwiches.
Hell yeah.
You know, that was the kind of life that we can respect from Elvis. But with Meatloaf, and in regards to his appearance, he almost, you know, didn't have a career because of it. And apparently when, you know, he was looking for a record deal and he was coming up, you know, the greatest ear in the game, Clive Davis.
I went to the Clive Davis School of Recorded Music.
Did you really?
I did. That's where I went to college at NYU.
Oh my God. Very cool. Did he ever pop in?
He did. He gave a couple talks and he was around. His daughter was my advisor.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Lauren. Shout out to Lauren Davis.
He is the Obi-Wan, you know, the Yoda of recording, and he's also just a solid family man. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys who actually kept his integrity through like all this stuff. But one of his biggest fallacies, and he'll own up to this, is that Meatloaf was put in front of him, and he said, aesthetically, I just couldn't see it working.
Well, it worked, baby.
Yeah, and
it worked, Clive.
He got left in the dust shortly after that. But, you know, when you talk about Elvis and Meatloaf and the aesthetics of, you know, getting out there and just putting on music, you know, they made up for it with energy, which is very much present in all of your songs.
Thank you.
You know, and I think you're right on the money that any song that I've listened to by you is something that can't be ignored. It's something that automatically, you know, tickles the dance gene and gets that moving. But, I mean, when you perform live, you know, you mentioned that you go through like this laundry list of I'm not good enough.
I mean, every now and then, don't get crazy. I mean, I know I'm amazing, so it's like a fleeting thing. You kind of need a little inspiration sometimes. But my live show is insane. It's like that. It's like my music times 10. I think that's my whole. Like I write music and make music to perform it live. It's not, some people play live shows as a you have to sort of thing. But like, I feel that way about the recording part and the production part. Really, for me, it's just playing them live. Like as soon as I get a song even close to ready, I usually, even if it's not out, I usually put it in the set and want to, see what happens and experiment and all that stuff. And it's a lot of energy, a lot of like jumping, running, lunging, thrusting, sweating, screaming. It's pop music, but it feels very rock and roll. It's very devil may, I don't give a shit, sort of vibe. And I did start Primo with the intention of being a female and being a producer, but also being I wanted to be like a lot of male producers and male artists that I like who are like, I'm fucking rad. And if you don't like it, fuck you. And so the braggadocious sort of thing, I don't know. I try to, that's not who I am really as a person, but it's who Primo is, so.
Does that just click when you're on stage? It's like, I am fucking Primo.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel me tonight.
Yeah.
And we're going to get after it. So when you've written a song, do you have like a litmus test, like a peanut gallery? Like here are the guinea pigs of friends that
Yes.
I need to make sure they're sweating before the end of,
Yes. I always send it to, there's a few people I send my stuff to, and they'll be honest with me. They're people who know what I do and know and get what I want and get what I want things to sound like. And they'll be like, sometimes say, you can do more, or this could be more.
Oh, there's some real people.
Real. Yeah. And they'll say like, oh, I love this part. I love that part. But this part you could do more with this part. Like my best friend, Andrew, is that person for me. He loves pop music. He listens to music I can't have a conversation with him without music playing. It's just all the time he carries around a thing and is always playing music. So I really trust his opinion on stuff. And I usually ask him and he'll be like, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Or he'll be like, you can do better. And I'm like, yeah. And it's usually him and my friends saying to me what I already know, usually, So maybe I was trying to get a pass out of it, but I knew it wasn't, sort of thing.
Gotcha. Do they get like granular with it and like, ooh, like intro's great, but let's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll be like, I love
chorus.
that verse, but like the chorus could be more. Or
Gotcha. Can we pull up Thunder and we'll take a look at. So your music videos are also, obviously retrowave, is one of the synthwave shoot-offs that you could throw out here, but there's a lot of 80s references and just fun aesthetics that definitely match, the music.
There she is.
Oh my God.
This was shot by Dorothy Bennett.
Have you ever done a music video without a leotard?
In my previous life, yeah, I have. This was a huge. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk now, but
yeah, you can talk over it.
This was a huge challenge for me. I'm not a dancer. I mean, I dance aggressively at all my shows, but I don't know how to dance. I'm not a dancer, so this was a huge undertaking for me. One of my best friends here in Austin, MC Glaser, formerly of Shy Beast. Choreographed it and really worked with me to make me. It was so hard. I was so scared. I don't get scared or nervous for performing ever, but this, I felt like sick to my stomach to do this because I'm just not good at it, and I don't like doing. No one likes doing things they're not good at.
Not good at dancing?
Yeah, not whatever this was. I was like, I can't do it.
Oh my gosh,
be so embarrassing. I just thought it was going to look so bad and be so embarrassing, but I think it turned out really nice.
Well, you absolutely fooled everybody who's looking at this. You look extremely confident in your abilities
yeah, you gotta fake it.
To neck roll.
It's that Elvis
and power stance.
It's that Elvis mentality. You got a TCB.
Everybody needs to just have Elvis fat with his peanut butter sandwich in one hand and a cigarette in the other, just in their living room instead of eat, pray, love, or live, laugh, love, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let's just have Fat Elvis everywhere.
It's a big inspiration. I mean, the thing is, like, also, you know, when you start focusing on telling a story and showing an emotion and selling, you know, the purpose behind the song to begin with, you stop worrying about, you know, I didn't look in the mirror like the whole day. You know what I mean? I wasn't concerned. I'm wearing a fucking like panties and a damn crop top thing, and I literally, that was the farthest thing from my mind, was what I looked like. It was more like, am I showing what is this conveying what the emotion of this moment is, and all those kind of things. And I think that when you perform that way, it's just, you know, more magical.
Yeah, you definitely came off as authentic. I showed some of your videos to a friend last night, and she was just like, "Oh my God!" Like,
yeah, keep showing my videos to people. That's what I need. I need word of mouth.
Yeah, people were panting at the end of it. It was pretty hot and heavy stuff.
Oh, good.
So,
I love that.
Yeah.
And this note. Church.
I love, there is a lot of power coming through. I wouldn't call it, would you call it power pop?
At times, depending on the song. I think I definitely, you know, the Primo sound is evolving.
Cool.
It definitely started very, very retro. It's become less retro over time. And I'm working on my new album right now, and it will be even less retro. But I think on this album, there's like a couple songs I would classify as power pop. Yeah.
Gotcha. So the direction you're moving away from is you're getting a little less retro and a little more contemporary.
I wouldn't say I'm moving away from or towards anything. It's just what I'm making and what is happening, you know? So, it's definitely not, it's not like I got to quit being retro, you know, I got to get out of this. It's more just, I'm evolving.
Yeah.
Changing.
Retrowave, synthwave. If you dial that all back, it kind of goes back to dream pop, which, you know, if you want to be exact about it, you know, dream pop was first mentioned in 1984. It was brought up by a band called A.R. Kane, who was signed to 4AD at the time, and they wanted a good way to describe their music. But the, you know, predecessors to that, the origins of dream pop really lay in the Wall of Sound, Phil Spector. People can go back to the Velvet Underground. A lot of those, you know, Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, you know, early psychedelic kind of mellifluous melodies set the stage for what, you know, would be dream pop that we would come to know in the late 80s and early 90s. And dream pop, just to characterize it, you know, is a large, loud, lush soundscape with sonic textures. There's usually a lot of drum machine synthesizers, samples, usually a female vocalist.
A lot of lush guitars.
Absolutely. You know. Ethereal, you know.
Reverb.
Ton of reverb. You know, it's pretty much music that if you fell asleep in a garage full of open gasoline cans and woke up and you're just fever dreaming, this would probably come to you first.
Yeah, and I think the description is great. It's dreamy music. It's I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of dream pop, but when I hear it in a like, I feel like it's great for scoring and great for, you know, dream pop to me is like, it's like David Lynch, you know, what he scores with a lot of times. And I think of it that way. If I do listen to it, it feels like a score to your life, sort of, you know.
Absolutely. So David Lynch was one of the, you know, original benefactors of dream pop, I guess, in that he locked on to the Cocteau Twins before they were the Cocteau Twins, so they were still trying to find their band name, and he found a song that they had written that he wanted to use in his show. What am I thinking of? What's his show?
Twin Peaks?
Twin Peaks. So that was, you know, the first time that dream pop was blessed upon the public. You know, it was pretty much David Lynch just reaching out to the Cocteau Twins and saying, can I use this demo tape in Twin Peaks? And that became a big theme in the show. I'm not a huge Twin Peaks guy, but I hear...
am a huge Twin Peaks guy.
Yeah, my name's Leland, and apparently there's a Leland on the show.
Yeah, there is a Leland. He's
So
not the best.
anytime I'm at a taco deli, the cashier's like, hey, man, Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
Like, no. But cool name, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that series. I've watched it through several times. And the whole soundtrack is like dream pop, like pretty much all of it, you know. There's like a couple moments where it's, you know, just kind of like score-ish, but most of it's, and they feature prominently, you know. A lot of them are like the touch tone of the scene, you know. There's a person doing something around this person performing like this dreamy pop ballad.
Yeah, so he got his own like subgenre of dream pop, which is just like Lynchian
pop.
Lynchian pop.
Yeah.
But some of the OG dream pop bands that you definitely have to throw out there are Cocteau Twins, Lush. I'd definitely throw out. The problem is that it goes into shoegaze. Mm-hmm. Those dream pop and shoegaze are Venn diagrams of each other. They're very similar. Mm-hmm. Shoegaze maybe is just a lot more dissonance and guitar sounds and reverb. But the bands that occupy both those spaces can usually be, classified in either or. But were any of those 80s, early 90s dream pop bands influential, for you in any way, as far as, what Cocteau Twins did, Twin Peaks?
I think that sound is definitely, it's something that reminds me. I was a child in the 80s for a very small amount of time, but, that ran into part of the 90s and into like, my dad taped so much stuff off of like HBO and stuff, and we would look at VHS tapes that he had taped that were old, different movies. So we did watch a lot of 80s stuff, and I think that vibe, that feeling that you get when you hear those things has been an inspiration for me, and something like I've chased like that feeling, maybe not necessarily that sound, but that feeling. And I think of like the Labyrinth soundtrack. Mm-hmm. There's like a lot of like that sort of feeling in the score, and Labyrinth is like my favorite movie of all time. So
you forgot about
hate
the
to be so cliche, but it is. I mean, my sister and I grew up watching that, and we watched it like at least once a week. It was always on. It was never not on. It was just a constant for us growing up. We could quote every single line, and it was, "You remind me of the babe."
You remind me of the babe.
Yeah.
What babe? Mm-hmm. A lot of girls who told me that they grew up with that movie, and I hope this is not too much information, but they would say that their sexual awakening was David Bowie.
I think for many men as well. I think for anyone who watched that film ever as a child, there's no way you didn't feel a sexual awakening looking at that man. First of all, he was so androgynous in it that I think men and women can agree that he was just the pinnacle. He was just walking sex, Oh, rest in power. That man, I'm telling you, it's really fucked up is that the day David Bowie passed away, my brother-in-law was in the hospital and I was in the emergency room. And he's fine. Everything's fine with my brother-in-law. But at the time, it was like really scary and everyone's worried. And everyone's like crying and stuff. And I was okay, And then someone told me David Bowie died and I just started sobbing in the ER.
Oh, my
and
God.
I felt so bad because I was like, my brother-in-law's in the freaking emergency room and we're all worried. And I'm like, David Bowie, Anyway, yeah. He awakened me. That's the answer. Yes.
Early on.
Yeah.
I agree. I think anybody who saw that crotch bulge in Labyrinth was woken up to a lot of different things. There's, a fantasy aspect to it, but the music playing right into it. So everyone talks about the weird shit from that.
There's like that song, You Remind Me of the Babe, but there's also some really I walked down the aisle to a song from Labyrinth when I got married. Okay.
Which one?
As the World Falls Down.
Nice.
I'll be there for you. Ooh. Oh, that's such a good one. Anyway, there's a lot of really, really rad songs in that soundtrack too.
Yeah, I feel like, cinema has a huge effect, on music and it guides it. And we mentioned that Lynch kind of brought dream pop to the forefront. But you see that, all over the place. Shoegaze, was brought in the 90s. by a few, directors that, wanted to experiment with it. Do you ever see your music, working with any type of cinema or
like a
TV
comedy?
show? Yeah.
I wrote originally most of my songs originally were all funny. Like I was very funny with it, and it was meant to be silly. And actually, my most recent, I just put out a double EP. One side is Hard on the Run, and you can hear that on like Spotify and all that kind of stuff. But the other side was vinyl exclusive. It's called Rock Professor. And those are, again, very silly. I mean, the song says, I'm the best fucking singer in this fucking town. Here I fucking go. I'm going to blow your minds. It's just a ridiculous song. So I imagine it in like a Jack Black-esque film or something. And then like my more pop stuff, I guess, maybe it's playing in the background of a party scene or something like that,
How did we not get that? How did we not get a School of Pop sequel?
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Or instead of just rocking out, everybody's just in sequins and like singing all the
I'll have
classic
to make
diva.
the movie. That's the only way. If you want it, you got to build it.
It starts here. Maybe a Labyrinth. I don't know if we even want to touch that legacy.
I've already thought. I actually just had a meeting last week about. I'm writing stuff. I'm doing it. I'm doing it all. I don't want. I'm low. I'm no one. I'm a nobody. But I have big fucking dreams, and I want more than just. I want it to be a whole thing, a whole experience. So I want a video game. I want a beer. I want an action figure. I want a comic book series,
I want a 3D,
Yeah, hell yeah. I want all of
altered
it.
reality video game where you can be me.
Yeah.
And you can feel like what it's like to be Primo.
Hang on to your asses,
Can we go ahead and play This Mortal Coil? So this is, the first song that launched 1,000 ships with Dream Pop, with the Cocteau Twins. And, their influence would spiral into what we have today with M83, MGMT, you could say, came from there. Still Corners, Tashaki Miyake. Are there any like contemporary dream pop bands that...
Should I be hearing this?
Oh, it's coming on.
Oh,
now.
I hear it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very soft.
Are there any contemporary dream pop bands that like you absolutely love?
It's hard to say because it's hard to classify these days. What's like a lot of things. I feel like the line blurs so much between things. Like I would consider, to me, people would consider the Chromatics to be synth pop, I guess. But like they feel like dream pop to me. That da, 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 that kind of just innocuous vocal.
Yeah.
The just very
Ruth Radelaide, Cherry.
Yeah.
Cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does that well. That's definitely very dreamy. And that was all orchestrated by Johnny Jewel, who's a Houston native.
Yeah.
A lot of people, Houston claims Lyle Lovett and Chopped and Screwed, but we got Johnny Jewel.
Man, somebody get me if anybody out there knows Johnny Jewel, get me in contact with him, please, because he could. I feel like we'd vibe out.
I think he's like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, he's
like,
worked with my friend with Rebecca from here, a girl from here.
So the story behind this music video is they made the music video and the band absolutely hated it and realized that they're about to be put in the cookie cutter machine of the record industry. And eventually, disagreements on this music video would cause them to break up later on.
This is a terrible video.
Yeah.
Like it's there's no doubt at all that this is bad. Like it's not a subjective thing. It's 100% black and white. This is bad.
They were very upset.
They should be. They should be livid. They should all be very mad.
Yeah, we can cut it. But what it did
so
do
bad.
is David Lynch took one look at this and was like, I got it.
He would love this. It's so bad he would love it. No, I'm a big fan of David Lynch, but sometimes it's like, homie,
So when you
just
talk
gotta rein it in a
about,
little bit.
when you talk about bucket list people to work with, Johnny Jewel, he would be in my top 20 just to meet.
Yeah, I would love to work with him.
But as far as collaborating,
I just don't think we would, but we probably wouldn't get along.
which would be good,
Yeah.
friction would probably cause
yeah,
better.
maybe,
product.
yeah. Because I don't like anyone telling me what to do. I want to be the one in the room that has the, you know what I'm saying? And you can tell he wants to be the one in the room.
Yeah.
That has the thing to
You're
say.
an instrument to him.
And it's like, nah, bitch. By the end of it, maybe he'd be a changed man. Maybe it would be beneficial for him. I don't know. So maybe it would be more for him than for me.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe
who
he's
knows?
down on his luck enough.
Yeah.
I know he just brought in, they just revived Sally Shapiro, Swedish new disco dream pop singer.
Oh.
In 2016, she said she had just had it with the music industry. Mic drop, signed off on social media. About 6 months ago, she just tweeted, "I'm back." And it turns out Johnny Jewel had gone out and brought her onto Italians Do It Better. And so now she's part of that label. But I could totally see you being a part of that, but I could also see you being further outside of that.
It's so weird because Italians Do It Better. Like, I appreciate it. And I love the aesthetic of it. I love,
it's not your vibe.
But like, I could never make that music. It would like, I don't know. I've attempted at times, even like, Laura, just chill out. We're just going to do like a chill ass song. We're not going to take it there. We're just going to be like right here the whole time. And I don't have it in me. It always starts there. And then by the end of it, it's like, holy God, what did I do? It's like ridiculous by the end. And it's just like, I laugh at half of my songs just listening to them because they're so self-indulgent,
Yeah.
I don't have the ability to not indulge them. I can't help it. I'm like an addict,
That all coalesces though, like you wanting to have fun with it, the comedy that's in there, just wanting to belt out there, not be background music. It all coalesces into a quite dynamic force that we're seeing play out live. And
Thank you.
In Austin here. But I have seen that collaborations in Austin, I don't see too many artists, that would fit you, perfectly. But when you do talk about synthwave, Austin isn't the mecca for that.
No.
Maybe you've got Survive and a few of those other electronic bands.
There's another guy here that's pretty popular, but he's just not really making anything anymore. I can't remember his name. We talked a little online, but he's just he's kind of done with it. So there's a couple people, but it's really not, a mecca for it. It is very international genre too. Most of my listeners are international.
Yeah.
Austin, in terms of like my monthly listeners, it's like way down the list. It's
good for you.
It's like Moscow.
Yeah.
Sweden, Finland, England, Netherlands, stuff like that. Mexico City.
Cool cultures.
Cool spots. Yeah. Where I play all places I can't go right now, which is,
Well, fuck Austin. If you can make it in those cities, then you're guaranteed.
That's so frustrating about it. It's like I live here. This is where I work. This is where I live. This is where, I'm a part of this community. And it's frustrating to feel so much success in other places and not the same support in your own
right. And you
backyard.
just want to scream at the audience.
Yeah.
Like, I would be selling out Moscow right now.
I don't even want to scream at the audience. I want to scream at the people who keep my music from the audience. At the end of the day, there are gatekeepers in every, genre in every city and everything like that. But I do think, it's imperative that we play all sorts of music on our local radio, that we cover all sorts of music in our local news publications and music publications and blogs and all that stuff. So appreciate you having me here, to talk, because it does feel like it's a guitar town, and it feels very, if you're not making like, if your song doesn't have little like Vampire Weekend guitar licks, then they're not interested, So it gets a little frustrating.
Absolutely. If you're not, indie rock, honky tonk, I don't know. There's a lot of like watered down soul. I'm not going to call it watered down soul, but it's just a lot of commercially viable, fun blues music that's flowing out of Austin. That's what we're known for, and that's what people want to stick by. That's what's safe. But I'll give you one example here in Austin, of an artist that totally blew up outside of this town. Have you heard of the band Mr. Kitty?
Yeah, but we're not talking about Mr. Kitty.
We shouldn't get into what's happened since, but they're a gothtronica band that's on hiatus right now due to some sexual accusations from a minor that came out. So we may not be seeing Mr. Kitty anymore or anytime soon, but at one time, they were getting millions of streams in Russia and Eastern Europe. They would go on tour. They would headline and sell out. And then you'd go see them at Elysium.
Yep.
And,
I played shows with them at Elysium.
There's 10 people in the crowd. And you're just
and it's because they're not getting played on local radio and they're not getting local press. I mean, I feel the same way about like Bronze Whale, who are really popular on, Spotify, who get I don't see them getting a lot of love locally. Like Missio, they pieced out. Austin, people live here and then they leave because of that. So, and then later they want to claim, oh, that's Austin's band, and it's like, well, you didn't really support them at the beginning. I don't know. It is interesting to me. And also it's like the same 5 people every day that I hear. And I'm like, I get it. And a lot of them are my friends and I love them, but it's, people want to hear new music. They want to hear good music. It's totally possible for a human being to listen to hip hop and then country and then pop and then rock. That's what playlists are. And that's what we do all the time now in this world that we live in now. There's no like genre. People don't really listen based on genres anymore.
Right.
Everything is like so playlist oriented and single oriented. People are totally capable of listening to this hip hop song and then listening to the country song. They're totally capable of it. I wish they would give people more credit for the ability to enjoy all different sorts of music.
Yeah, I think we're heading that direction. I think a lot of people just want to play it safe, and right now in the music industry, especially with venues here in town and just everybody's in struggle city. Yeah. So everybody's playing it safe. And it's like, oh, if I can get Black Pumas or, Walker Lugans or, some of these names that have been around here for a while. Yeah. It's like, we're going to stick with that. We're not going to throw out somebody that may or may not have their fan base.
Listen, you're going to do what I want. Trust me. It's just a matter of time. You can do it the easy way or the hard way.
Look into her eyes when she's talking.
Easy way or the hard way. When I was on American Idol, they told me I made too much eye contact. I think they were right.
And that's why I lost.
That's why I lost. Too much eye contact. No, they said I was tainted. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's fun. What does that even mean? Well, when collaborations come up, I noticed that you'd done something with Time Cop 1984, and that ended up being a little bit of a debacle as far as that collaboration, because he's a famous synthwave outrunner. Definitely up there with some of these other guys. The
Midnight.
Yeah, the Midnight.
FM 84, Gunship.
Gunship's
I live in this world. I could name 1,000 different synthwave people. I don't really make synthwave particularly, but I make retro pop music, and so I get kind of lumped in with synthwave, and that's where I found a fan base. But yeah, we did a song. We as a loose term. I wrote and produced and recorded a song, and he put his name on it, and then it was just a whole. Do you want me to get into it?
No, you don't have to if it's gonna cause trauma. But it sounds like it was a bad experience in which he kind of took advantage of how the publishing came out, or just how
the credits were wrong. He featured me on my own song. Long story short, I went along with it, but it was because I had nothing. I mean, I was desperate, so I felt like I had to kind of go along with it. And then when I asked him to fix it, he wouldn't. And then I exposed him.
Damn.
Expose him.
And now Time Cop's in jail.
Got my song back. Yeah, I got my song back, and it's fine now. People do talk about it a lot. It's like a big synthwave drama,
Word.
It's like a whole thing. Yeah. And people were like him. There's like Team Time Cop, Team Primo. I even have Team Primo t-shirts available for sale. Primo the Alien .bandcamp.com. People would like.
It got that intense.
It did, yeah. It got pretty intense.
That's fighting on the streets right there. Where is he based out of?
He's in the Netherlands.
He's Dutch.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So if you talked about people have to leave Austin to kind of find their wings for certain styles of music. If you were on the launching pad of Primo, and you thought Austin just wasn't it, where would that move be? Miami, New York? Are you going out of the country?
Well, I used to live in I went to school in New York, and I used to live there and love New York. But I think where this sort of where things are now is maybe like LA, but I don't need to leave. I can fly, play, this is a good home base for me. I can travel and do what I need to do. It's just, I just wish, I just want it's that thing. It's stupid. I want validation from my hometown. I want everybody wants love from their hometown. So that I wouldn't leave for, because I don't think you can outgrow a city if you just, with these days, well, we can't travel that much with COVID, but in the future when we can, it's just like fly, get a Airbnb or whatever,
Yeah.
I like Austin.
You're going to have to make it work here.
Yeah. I like being here. I have a home here. My family's in Texas. My Earth family.
Nice. Well, we absolutely need you here as well to fortify this sound that has not taken off here. And, to go back to, cinema influencing music, John Carpenter was pretty instrumental in getting synthwave, into his music.
Let me tell y'all, synthwave people love some John Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people's last name, like fake last names are Carpenter, their artist names. A lot of big John Carpenter fans in synthwave. And the movie Drive, oh God. That movie Drive?
Yeah, that launched 1,000 ships.
That's their like Bible. That's their don't shit talk it. Don't say anything about Drive. Like,
everybody's got their Scorpio jackets.
They legit like every day in these synthwave groups, somebody will be like, "Has anyone ever seen Drive?" And it's like, yeah, they've all seen it 1,000 times. They're obsessed. So yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. Who's the main actor in it again?
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling says maybe 3 words the whole movie.
I think it's a good movie. I mean, it's crazy how much these people love this movie. I mean, it's like the end all be all.
It was like a 90-minute music video.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You just hear a real human being.
Kavinsky or whatever his name is.
Right, Night Call.
Night Call. That was the one that just started it all. I mean, they love Night Call.
And a real human being.
A real human being. Yeah. I could never make that real hero. This is going to sound so fucked up, but I shouldn't even say this, but that song is so bad. It's just not good. Like, it's not a well-written song.
We got a hot opinion. I like it.
I'm sorry. It's not a well-written song. I think the production is good, and that made it okay. And I guess it's like that. La, 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 la. I'm an innocuous, benign person who will never challenge anything you think. It's okay. Everything's fine.
I think that's where the movie comes in and sold it. It's like maybe on its face it would totally suck, but with the movie, everybody just kind of like, oh my God, I think this is like
chorus. God, it's so, you guys, like, I could never write a song like that. That's the chorus, really?
Yeah.
A real and a real hero. Man, it's crazy. It doesn't rhyme. It doesn't really it's like 3 notes.
You're right on the money, though. I mean, dissecting that song, it doesn't have a lot going for it.
It's bad. It's a bad song. But sometimes you put the visual, you put the production, you put all that stuff together, because it is people. You have to remember that it's not just the song; it's the performance, it's the visual, it's the whole package.
What movie would we remake to bring your music to the forefront and to, crystallize some
Nacho
imagery?
Libre. No, I don't know. Like. I don't know. I think a weird, like, I would like a Cronenberg-esque sort of trippy movie about, I can't talk about what movie it would be, because maybe I'm making one. Maybe I'm writing one. Maybe I'm already in the process.
Yeah, we don't want to break any NDAs.
You know what I'm saying?
Get you canceled out of
My
Hollywood
big deal
before.
with Scorsese.
Scorsese? That's cool.
Old Scorsese.
He's definitely going to be doing a synthwave movie anytime now, just featuring Joe Pesci and Bobby D.
Yeah.
But if you were to go ahead and create a cult of Primo the Alien, what aesthetic would it just be Primo as Primo is? Would you wear your leotard and just dance power anthems to indoctrinate your people?
It would be lots of fog machines.
Mm-hmm.
There's a film grain on everything. Oversaturation of color. I think the vibe is just being yourself, being an individual, being confident, I think the whole, like, if you could boil down Primo to a word, it's just like confidence, you know, unabashed confidence.
Absolutely. And it exudes from your imagery.
I mean, some people say egotistical. Some people say, you know, self-absorbed.
Yeah.
But I like to say, unabashed confidence.
Humility just doesn't work out when it comes to power pop.
on.
Like, what are you going to do?
We've
Be
seen that.
bashful
That's
while you're
boring.
in. Yeah.
It's boring. I save it for my shower cries. You know, I'm humble, and when I sob in the shower, I can't do that out in public.
But if you were called on stage by a certain artist, who would make you the most nervous to go duet with?
No one would make me nervous to duet with them. I don't have no nerves about performing or singing or anything. I mean, people that I would really like, ooh, that's cool. Like, you know, like Ariana Grande, I'm such a fan of her voice. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of really big singers anymore, you know, and she's like such a great singer. Like contemporary people, I love Lady Gaga, of course. People will sometimes compare me to Lady Gaga as an insult. And I'm always like, it's like the most wonderful compliment.
Really?
So that's not going to work.
Yeah. Why would they insult you with that?
I don't know. Isn't it every opinions, music? You know, we all have a different. Some people live and die by dream pop. Me, I could leave it. You know, I don't need it.
Yeah.
We're all different.
But Lady Gaga is a punchline. That's just ruthless. She's a great,
amazing,
beautiful diva woman.
Yeah.
I would equate you closer to, like, I get a lot of Robin vibes because Robin.
I love Robin.
Yeah. Robin,
Love Robin
in the workout room is just like, I'm sweating, you know, everybody's feeling her breakup pain.
A lot of people don't know the old Robin either. Now, I grew up on Robin. Do you really want me? Am I really special?
I loved Robin with Royksop is one of my favorite bands, hands down. And Robin was part of that for a little while. And they did a lot of songs together. But I guess I would be late on Robin because I didn't get into her solo stuff until Dancing on My Own came out.
Oh, see, I used to have that original album that had all the jams on it. It was just hit after hit after hit after hit. And we listened to it. My friends and I listened to it all the time. If you talk to any girl who's like 30 years old, they're going to be like, running around with your cheap talk, yeah.
Ooh, can we just do a Robin covers album?
Oh my God. I mean, honestly, I could cover all those songs and I feel like no one would know them. Like no one under, you know, a certain age I could definitely pass them off as Primo songs at this point.
Well, people need to bring it back. I mean, a lot of these contemporary dream pop bands try to reference, you know, their predecessors. You have Beach House and M83. They kind of, you know, take their own twist and turns on that. And then, you know, you can say that some of the psychedelic pop and MGMT, Cigarettes After Sex, Beach Fossils, all these bands, you know, take a note from dream pop, but nobody's really sticking to, you know, the original kind of Cocteau Twins, late 80s, early 90s vibe. So that is come and gone.
You gotta, you know, if you're gonna bring something back, you can't like 100% bite it. You got to bring it back with some extra flavor and your own flavor and your own thing. I personally I'm not a fan of like listening to something and trying to emulate it. Mm-hmm. Just do the things that make you feel good and, you know, make your own genre that people will talk about one day, right?
And it all works out.
Yeah.
Can we bring up Miley Cyrus covering Heaven or Las Vegas?
She really leaned into that hair style, you know.
It looks very Joe Dirt. I don't know. It looks very Vegas. Like Welcome to Vegas.
It is very Vegas, yeah. But it looks like her in like 20 years, not like her now. But you know, whatever.
She's rocking it. So she's trying to, you know, teach her fan base, which is typically under 30s.
Yeah.
These are the Cocteau. And she says we just missed it before, but she's like, y'all don't know what this song is. You probably won't care, but here it is. Like she's some savior.
Like she fucking learned it 2 weeks ago when someone suggested her sing it.
Exactly.
Doing the old.
One of my assistants was playing this in the SUV when I got in, so I was just like, maybe I'll cover this for my set. But you can't deny the voice though. And The Weeknd also sampled Cocteau Twins on his new remix album. So
The Weeknd's very divisive in synthwave.
yeah, I don't see why. The latest album
because
is
they're like making
unbelievable.
synthwave, but they're not saying anything about synthwave. So there's two reasons people want them to pay. They want The Weeknd to say, "This is synthwave," and then half of them don't bite synthwave,
Yeah.
and you're gonna ruin the genre. Blah blah. Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
That's crazy. Do what you feel. That's not. It is synthwave, but it's also
whatever.
just
Who
The
fucking
Weeknd.
cares,
Yeah.
yo? Y'all didn't invent a fucking 16-note bass harp, okay?
Yeah.
You really didn't. In fact, it's ironic considering synthwave is just a bite of the 80s. Like, y'all are just copying the 80s, so why are you mad somebody's copying you?
Absolutely.
Also, he's never heard of you. He's not copying you. He's doing what they're doing, which is making 80s sounds, you know?
Yeah. We can cut Miley.
Bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch.
Love ya. See ya, sis.
Where'd all these fights take place on Reddit or?
God, they take place all over Twitter, Facebook groups. There's a lot of synthwave Facebook groups. I mean, I personally am out. I pieced. I said, bye, y'all. Primo is out.
It's a good mental health move.
But they pop anytime The Weeknd puts out a new song, somebody starts posting about it. You know, oh, this is synthwave. Oh, this is synthwave. It's like, to be fair, I promise, I truly believe that they're just doing organically what synthwave is. They're listening to songs that are retro, and they're incorporating those sounds into their music. Which is, you know, I don't think they heard someone with 500 monthly listeners on Spotify's, you know, track they just put out and copied it.
Right.
You know, I don't think that's the case. I think they're doing exactly what that person did, which was hear an 80s sound and put it in their song.
Yeah.
You know?
Nobody's investing a ton of time just to rip off an unknown artist.
I mean, it happens, but I don't think in this case, I don't think that's the case this time.
Yeah. Props to The Weeknd, though. He, got snubbed at the Grammys and then took it out on all of them at the Super Bowl by investing, I think it was $10 million of his own money to blow it out for the Super Bowl halftime show.
I'm a fan of his. I think his music is great. I'm into it. I dig it. I dig.
Yeah. It's a little dystopian. I don't know. Have you seen his music videos for the latest singles that have come out where
I don't know what the latest singles are.
He's, like Heartless. It's every one of his singles, he did a video in Las Vegas, and
I've
they're
seen
all
a couple of them, but yeah.
It's all featuring him kind of drugged out in like a dystopian, super, just crazy Vegas setup. But anyway, I thought, those music videos absolutely crushed it, and The Weeknd is on fire.
Yeah.
And has been through this pandemic. But with your experience in pandemic, it seems like you've definitely gotten your ducks in a row as far as what's next, and here's the music that's coming out.
Yes.
And you mentioned that you have another side project.
I do. So yeah, the pandemic, I worked the whole time. I mean, it was busy for me. I grew so much. I went from I had 5,000 monthly listeners when it started, and by the end I had 75 not that long ago, but now it's down to 50,000. But I blew up, in my small scale during the pandemic, just putting out music, just regularly putting out music. Live shows are like a fun indulgence, I think, at this point. Now, the pandemic is proof that it's really all about consistently releasing music and promoting it online, So I did grow a lot, and I put out a lot of songs. I think I put out 12 singles or something last year, or something crazy like that. And then I made a double EP, released that in May. And I have a new side project called Kevin, KVN, with two other Austin artists, Dossie and Lady Heartwing, who used to be the lead singer of Shy Beast. Mm-hmm. And we just put out our first single called High and Low. We have a new single that'll be out soon called Burn the Breeze. And we have a residency booked in November, every Wednesday in November at Mohawk.
Is that just going to be a mind-melting show? I just think of you and Dossie on stage. It's going to be a sweat fest.
Yeah, it's funny.
Mind-melting.
We all already, so I play bass for Dossie in her band. And then MC, Lady Heartwing, plays keys for me in my band. And then we have this, we're just always together all the time. So it just kind of was like one of those natural, we're best friends. And we thought, this will be fun. It's kind of just like a fun passion project. That's also a lot of work.
Yeah, I was like, until it's not.
Yeah,
and
it's a
this
lot of
takes
work.
over
We're
all of
getting
your
ready.
side projects.
Yeah. That always happens with a side project. You're like, oh, it's for fun. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh my God, what did I do?
Did we just create a super group?
Yeah, it's so fun though. We have a blast. We actually just did a photo shoot, and the whole time I don't think anything's even usable. We're just laughing the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
And as far as releases go, so you said you've recorded stuff for Kevin.
Yeah, we
okay.
have we just released a single for that, and then we have another one coming out soon. It's getting mixed and mastered right now. We have several songs in the works, and should be out this fall.
Awesome.
Kevin stuff, yeah. And you can find Kevin at kevinrules.com, I believe. KVN, Kevin Rules. And then Primo stuff, I'm just finishing. Well, not finishing. I'm in the midst of an album, working on an album right now. So most of the songs written. Production starting. Just did vocals yesterday for a song, and I mean that's why my voice was like starting. I sang all day yesterday. So I'm a little
It's a little reedy, yeah.
Yeah, well, when you gotta be, I was screaming a lot yesterday. Man, doing ad libs, it's rough. It's the worst. I dread it. Like all the other stuff is so easy, and then I get to those ad libs, and I'm like,
Just
Lord,
tears you
what am I
apart.
going to do this time? Well, because you don't know what you're going to do, so you got to scream a lot over the top of the song, just vibe and see what comes out. And then once you get it, then you got to get it right and all that stuff. Anyway, so yeah, I'm recording a new album, and I mean this one is going to be different. It's got acoustic guitars in it, man. Like
Whoa.
shit's wild up
That's
in
crazy.
here. That's crazy.
You're talking about analog synths and acoustics?
Yes,
Come
and
on.
if KUTX doesn't play me with a goddamn acoustic guitar, then I don't know what else to do. Then I fucking give up. Okay, I give up. That's all I can say.
We put the fucking acoustics in here for you,
Motherfuckers,
KUTX.
if you guys don't, yeah, exactly.
Give me
If you
some
don't let me
airplay.
get on the radio with that one, I don't know what to say.
Give me some airplay, God
Yeah.
damn it. Well, is there any, you said you have a residency at the Mohawk that's
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
Any other shows that we should tune into?
I pick up stuff here and there, but the main thing people can do is go listen to me on Spotify. It's hard to find me because I'm Primo the Alien, but on Spotify I'm Primo. And then unfortunately, somebody uploaded a song for a compilation album under Primo the Alien and fucked it up. So it created Primo the Alien page. So now it just has this one song on it called Sexual Safari of all things.
Where it says Primo, not the alien.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is not, I have like the head picture is like, this is not Primo's page, just to get people off of it. Anyway, if you want to find my music you can, on Spotify, you just do Primo, Do It Again. If you type that in, that's one of my songs. Primo, Do It Again on Spotify, Apple Music, all the things. You can find my music that way. And also on Bandcamp, if you want to get a Team Primo shirt, primothealien.bandcamp.com, merch, all that kind of stuff.
Because fuck Time Cop.
Yeah, fuck that bitch.
I'm not getting a
More
pro
like
time cop.
cock. Okay, more like
more like clock dick.
Time Cop 1980 sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, we made up, I guess, so it's fine. I'm just joking, Yordi. Just a joke. It's fine. We're cool. Sort
And
of.
we just rehashed it, baby.
No, no. He
Twitter,
rehashed it.
Reddit's going
I literally
wild.
wouldn't even talk about it. He rehashed it recently, so I feel like I am allowed now. He opened the door. Shouldn't have done it.
And he ain't gonna win.
Shouldn't have done it, bitch.
'Cause
Not
now-
with me.
Now Primo's got two bad
Primo
bitches behind
keeps
her.
receipts.
Yeah.
Primo keeps receipts. Okay.
Primo's also got Kevin backing her up
Yeah,
now.
I got
so
Kevin
The fuck you gonna do
Yeah.
in
out in Timbuktu, bitch.
Amsterdam,
Come find me.
the Hog,
Yeah.
wherever you at. But thanks for coming on the
But
show.
wait, I really am joking. Like I'm kidding. We're cool. We're fine.
We ain't starting shit,
Yeah,
but
not
we
starting
are.
shit.
But we are. But I really appreciate you coming on the Music Fringe and talking a little bit about dream pop.
Thank you. I feel like we didn't
And
talk about dream pop that much, but it's fine.
We didn't touch on it as much.
You got a lot of notes, and I'm pretty sure
maybe
we did
we
not,
should. Yeah, these notes are just really dumb questions to
Let
ask
me
you,
look
which
at
I
it.
didn't get into. You've got,
Let's see this.
what are your favorite songs to do meth to?
Ooh, with any religious figure. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know, the QAnon.
Are you
Alex
into
Jones.
QAnon core?
What is QAnon core?
It's
just some being
Alex
like,
Jones influence.
oh, crying.
It's like, we're turning the tides, guy. We're getting down,
and then
down,
crying.
down. Bill Gates.
my kids.
Bill Gates vaccine. Sing.
What if this said something bad about me on here?
Yeah,
Let's
it's
find
like,
out.
do not bring
Don't
up.
ask her about Time Cop.
Yeah, do not bring up her last single.
Okay, this all looks above board to me.
Okay, great.
Okay, yep, yeah.
Just don't
Looks
flip to
good.
that last page.
Looks
or I
good.
just shit on
Coining.
you relentlessly.
Yeah. Gotcha moments, like
Yeah, yeah,
gotcha,
yeah.
and then it says,
But we can jump into what's your favorite song to listen to on meth another time, because
Oh, damn it.
at the Music Fringe, we'll continue to jump into more microgenres, and luckily, people just keep pumping them out. So we will keep covering them as long as you nerds keep creating them.
Yeah, I'll be here every week.
That would be awesome, but I don't know if we could afford you. But yeah, thanks again, and check out Kevin at residency at the Mohawk here in Austin, and then also go to Primo the Alien Spotify.
Primo, do it again.
Primo, do it again.
Just
Spotify.
look that up. Spotify. Boom. Boost those numbers, baby.
And get sweating in the gym to those tracks. Find the girl or guy that you've been creepily eyeing down for the past year. Turn up some Primo and go talk to her while you're sweating. And when you are rejected, you'll at least still have some of the dopamine, serotonin from the music flowing
Yeah,
through.
when you're rejected, walk away. Okay, just leave. I do not advocate for stalking someone for a year.
Yeah, hovering while sweating is
Don't
not
do
a
that.
look.
Just walk away, and it's a loss.
But thanks again for coming on.
Thanks
and
for having
that
me.
is the Music Fringe, La Musique Française. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all of our other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home online at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.